Hi there, my name's Cindy Davis. I'm the Content Director for AV Technology, and with me is Nic Milani, the VP of Marketing and Business Development at Epiphan. Hey, Nic.
Hey, Cindy, great to see you again.
Great to see you, and thanks for doing another one of these so we can get more information on Epiphan Connect, because we got a little tease in a video that we recently did, and we want to hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, we're using it right now, so that's exciting. Everybody that's viewing should know that we're actually in a Microsoft Teams call, and what we're doing is we're extracting the video and audio via the cloud in full HD isolated, and that's now going into a tool that we're pre-recording it and creating a live stream simultaneously.
That's pretty cool. And thank you, by the way, for doing this. Certainly when Epiphan said, hey, we can create this whole video for you, it's like, you bet. And really amazing to be able to do it through Teams.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like, you're at your laptop right now with a webcam. I'm sitting with a Canon M200 connected to one of our 4K capture cards into my Surface Pro. And here we are, we're having a call inside Microsoft Teams. In the background, just so everybody knows, Julian Fernandez from Epiphan, our Director of Product Marketing. He's not a producer. He's in the background extracting those video signals and creating a quick show while he also records them for you to edit afterwards and do post-editing on. So we're able to simultaneously create a live show and a recorded show, but all through the convenience of Microsoft Teams, since everybody knows how these tools work.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about so what are some of these solutions out there that really makes Epiphan Connect stand out?
Yeah, so we're really in a unique space here, and it's a fun spot on the field. The way that it's solved today is that if you want to bring a Microsoft Teams participant into your live event production, you're going to use NDI with a local PC on a local network, or you're going to use a local PC with a physical HDMI connected to a switching board. And then what they're doing is a physical crop to get the image they want out of there. And it just creates a lot of opportunity for error and a lot of opportunity for things to go awry. One of my favorite examples, by the way, you hear from anybody is the dreaded words of, hey, let me share something real quick. Now, in video conferencing world, that's really common that we want to share content, bring it up. In the live event space, it breaks a lot of the ways they've set up those kind of experiences in the background. With our tool, we don't rely on a local network. Everything's cloud-based in the production we're doing right now. Okay, so Epiphan Connect's actually reaching into the Microsoft Azure server and getting our video signals from there. And it's also getting our content from there. So that way content's a totally separate feed, which means the live event producer on the back end right now is saying, I've got an individual feed for Cindy, an individual feed for Nick, and an individual feed for content if anybody happens to share anything. Now, I don't think that's the case, but it creates a really controlled environment where it's really predictable. So we don't rely on those local networks. We're up in the cloud, extracting there in full HD.
Nice. And in the background there, Julian, thank you so much for making all this work. I definitely appreciate this. So what are the production tools then that are needed?
Well, so we're the extraction point. So we're going from Microsoft Teams to any SRT is the term. That's secure, reliable transport. That's the protocol we use. So nothing proprietary here. We're using something that's a well-established kind of globally recognized standard. SRT is supported both by physical production tools, whether that's Epiphan Pearl, our edge devices, or any number of vendor products. One of my favorite examples is that we're announcing a partnership with Grass Valley. They've got their AMP ecosystem, which is both a virtual kind of production environment, as well as a connection down to a world of different encoders, switchers, producing tools. So we can really access any of those. So this is a very universal experience that we can create. Beyond the physical hardware, we're also able to support virtual production tools. So let's say your organization relies on StreamYard. StreamYard can now then be connected to Microsoft Teams using Epiphan Connect.
Nice. So there's been, we've all talked about in really recent couple of years, the blending of pro AV and broadcast. A lot of, certainly with the pandemic, everybody's having to up their game. And it's really, really important now to up the game with video content, because it's about content and delivering really the best quality experience. So the Epiphan tools, they're not just, how are they going to benefit the Pro AV market?
Yeah, I think the biggest opportunity we have, like day one, is to unlock the power of all those Microsoft Teams rooms that have been installed. You know, I've spent how many years now out there promoting and pushing Microsoft Teams rooms and really driving that MTR experience, and it's been a fun one. And what we've seen is, you know, the numbers I'm hearing is anywhere from 2.5 to 5x the number of investments in Microsoft Teams rooms coming out of the pandemic. We're ripping out those private offices. We're now putting in smaller huddle spaces so that we can have better hybrid events, because we're not sure who's going to be in person and remote on any given day. That's the pattern, right? Well, we also see that our employees want to up their production quality, that when they are sharing that internal or external stories we talked about earlier. The simplest area for the Pro AV world to really lean into this is to say every one of those Teams rooms now becomes a mini studio. And so you take a look at some of these multinational companies that do have a production, right? They'll have a studio space where they can produce an event. The problem is they have to physically fly everybody into that space to create anything. Well, that doesn't work in this new world, right? So instead, if we treat that as a production hub, and every single Microsoft Teams room in all of those locations around the world, those become mini studios that they can get great audio, great video, and they know that their employees will look good, feel good, sound good, right? And that just brings that quality up. And in a sea of a lot of content, it's important to drive quality.
Well, that's an interesting way to look at those conference rooms, Microsoft Teams rooms. They're not just the cameras and the audio; it's also that production value, right?
Yeah, it's something that I think is anytime you can bring additional value to an existing capital purchase, that's real value for an organization. And by the way, for the folks that are listening on the Pro AV side that don't know the broadcast world as well, I'm telling you, the customers have a lot of pain around this space, right? Because think about the three things that impact a great live event. Bandwidth is the first one. Well, in an MTR space, that's a much more controlled bandwidth situation than even somebody's personal desk. The second thing is audio. Audio is always critically important. Well, we know we have those mic arrays. We know they have those multiple mic systems. We spend all that time engineering the audio for those rooms, so that's going to be a better experience. And the third one's video. Well, the optics and the quality of the video and the camera at the front of the room is much higher, right? So we take something and we increase the likelihood of a positive outcome for anybody that has to participate in a town hall or an external event or training or whatever it is. It just ups that. And I think that shows respect. It shows appreciation to the far end participants, to those clients, those customers, those people that are tuning into the event. It makes it more engaging. It makes it more impactful for them.
So if you would, just give me a use case, kind of like paint that picture of a use case for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think a really simple one. It doesn't even have to be a big company, right? You take a normal sized organization that maybe you're taking, let's go the other direction. Let's go with a smaller startup type business. Let's go with a company that's, 50 employees. They've got 3 rooms. They've invested in a Microsoft Teams room or 2. That's not a small lift for a company of that size. They usually have one space they like to show off with, and they can't afford a production studio. Well, tomorrow, the AV dealer, the reseller, the local person come in and introduce Epiphan Connect as a tool that lets them extract that video out of that space, and then it can be created into a virtual production anywhere, whether that's on site with with their video talent, or if it's off site with a production company. But we know that we're going to get a much better experience, a much higher branded experience. So that's one that we see a lot of right now. The other thing we see is just that classic, I'm trying to bring in a remote contributor to the show. I've got a guest lecturer at a university. A lot of universities use Epiphan Pearl today, and I want to go ahead and bring in somebody, and I want to do it easily, quickly, and efficiently. This is the most efficient way to do it. Join a Microsoft Teams call, come on in. The thing I'm most excited about, what we're going to demonstrate at the launch, is the ability to really kind of dynamically pull people on and off stage. You see, part of the problem with the existing tool set, as I described it, is it's a very fixed architecture. Once you get that set up, it kind of only works in that combination, right? So what we're able to do with this tool is also say, anybody that was joining this Microsoft Teams call right now, Cindy, could be promoted to join the show. So let's say we were doing the show live. Let's say that's actually outbound on YouTube, and we've got, I don't know, 1 million people watching. Let's dream big. 1 million people watching. We start talking. We ask a question. Somebody asks a smart question. And holy snakes, we want to get them on the show. We could DM them, send them the link to Microsoft Teams. They could click over here. They could be on, and we could then bring them into the live production, talking to us in real time in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take that much time. This creates a dynamic that's a really interesting engagement model. It's one I've been studying for years on Twitch. Now, a lot of folks our age aren't on Twitch because we're not gamers. I'm not a gamer either, but what I found is so fascinating about it is this idea that, a kid can watch somebody doing something, participating in content, something, and slowly become a part of the show and actually join the show and then go back off. And they do it with a lot of complicated setup work to make it happen. But it's something, that dynamic, that idea of kind of, I call it the Price is Right effect, right? That idea that if I show up, I just might get up on stage with Bob Barker. It creates a lot more passion and engagement. That idea that if I say something smart, I might be up there. And I think that as organizations really start to figure out what engagement means with their customers, true engagement, those types of techniques are underexploited. And they're underexploited because there's been bad tooling. So here we are. We come full back circle on it. So there's a couple different examples in there that I think people should be excited about.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Connect is the connection to do all that.
Amen.
Brilliant, huh? It's been great, and I really can't wait for your launch party, which I think is coming up. Do you want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So 15 minutes. I've launched a lot of products over the last few years, and it feels like oftentimes the mentality is we go in with how can we fill an hour. We're going a different direction with this one. September 27th. It's going to be a half-hour event. 15 minutes is the launch party. We're going to have an after party for 15 minutes if you want to hang out, ask questions, talk to the team. Again, it'll be super dynamic, and we'll show the tool. You'll get to hear from some experts, and we're going to do exactly what I just described. We're going to invite people from the audience into the show, win prizes, have them talk for a few minutes, and then get them out. The whole thing will be running on a timer, and we're going to break the 15 minutes down into 1-minute segments. So for you TikTok fans, we've got your attention span covered.
So, hey, Nic, first, again, thank you to Epiphan for creating this video for us. So I would love to see what's going on in the background. And we mentioned that Julian's there in the background making all the magic happen, even though I know it's Connect. So can we take a look at what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Julian, why don't you come and join us on the stage, so to speak. So Julian's been here the whole time. For those of you that aren't seeing the warped reality that you create and broadcast, he's in the background with our head of PR, Ron Epstein. But Julian, if you kind of promote yourself to the stage, maybe give us a quick tour of what the tool looks like in the background.
Sure. Thanks, Nic. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun producing you guys. And like they've said, we're all sitting in a Microsoft Teams meeting, and I was able to go into our Epiphan cloud service. I selected Epiphan Connect, and I just connected it to the meeting, which, like we've discussed, lets us pull isolated SRT video and audio of all the participants. So I connected the meeting. I can then hop into the meeting itself, and I'm able to see, like Nic said, I see Cindy, I see Nic, I see Ron, I see myself, as well as our screen share, which I'm using right now to show you guys this content. I'm able to then choose which participants I want to extract, as well as see their information as far as what their video quality is. So, Cindy's got a great connection. She's passing up 1080. So we've got a great feed from Cindy. And then if I need to say, hey, we want to have Ron come join us on here, I can just hit start on Ron. I put in the SRT settings. I select my video quality that I need. So we're going full HD on 1080. I hit start on Ron. I've populated the caller side on our production tool, and now Ron is available as a source for me to bring right into our production. And all this, we're just on Microsoft Teams.
See how simple it is to create a tool that universally provides those video feeds. And it's also intelligent, though. If my camera happens to go off during the call, you'll see that the tool updates and shows that I have no camera. If my mute all of a sudden happens, feed. Now all of a sudden I'll be back, right? So there are some interesting aspects that we've included in the tool to make it useful for event producers. And we've also made it intuitive enough that we think AV folks and folks that don't have that broadcast background, but do have video experience, can certainly create a great live event.
Well, this looks pretty cool. I actually can't wait to get my hands on it myself. So thank you all for making this happen.
Well, thank you so much, Cindy, and we're really excited to share it with the world. We appreciate your support in doing that. Cheers.